Hi, my name is Graham Smith, and I'm one of the authors that helped develop the learning approach to mathematics that is found in our textbook as well as the video you are about to experience. To learn more about our approach to learning mathematics, visit the web address that accompanies this video. Now, enjoy the video. Adding and subtracting decimal numbers. This video will help you add and subtract decimal numbers. To add and subtract decimals, we will build like decimals by writing each decimal number to the same place value. We align the decimal points and add zeros to fill in any missing place values. Now let's take a look at some examples that will help us understand how to add and subtract decimal numbers. Example 1. Find the sum of these two decimal numbers. Well, what I want to do is I want to make sure I get the place values lined up in these decimal numbers. To do that, I'm just going to simply align the decimals themselves. So I have 4.87, and I'm going to add to that 3.8. I've lined up the decimals, and you can see that in 3.8 I'm missing one of the place values. So I'm going to go ahead and add a 0 there to that place value. Make sure that I have like decimal numbers now. Once I've got the decimals aligned and I've added the zeros, now I'm ready to add. Starting over on the right, 7 plus 0 is 7. 8 plus 8 is 16. Write down the 6, carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 3 more is 8. And I'm going to bring that decimal straight down. When I add these two decimal numbers together, I get a final answer of 8.67. Example 2. I'm asked to find the difference between these two decimal numbers. Again, I'm going to start by lining up the place values, by lining up the decimals. So 3.108, and down below I'm going to write 2.3, set up my subtraction, and you can see that I need to add 2 zeros here to make sure that these decimals are written to the same place value. And now I'm ready to subtract. Starting over on the right, 8 minus 0 is 8. 0 minus 0 is 0. 1 minus 3. Well, I can't do that, so I'm going to need to borrow. I'm going to borrow from the 3, which will make it a 2. Makes that 1 and 11. 11 minus 3 is going to give me 8. And then 2 minus 2 is going to give me 0. And I bring that decimal point straight down. So when I subtract these two numbers, my final answer is 0.808. Now it's time to check your understanding of adding and subtracting decimal numbers. Hit pause on your video player and answer these guided practice questions. When you're done, hit play to see how you did. Question 1. We're asked to find the sum of these two decimal numbers. So we're going to want to line up their place values by lining up the decimal points. So 14.35, 6.7. Those are the numbers we're going to add. We're going to need to add 1 0 over here so that we have like decimal places. Now I'm ready to add. 5 plus 0 is 5. 3 plus 7 is 10. Write the 0, carry the 2. 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 6 is 11. Write the 1, carry the 1. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. So I get an answer of 21.05. Question 2. Find the difference between these numbers. Well, let's start with 30. You'll notice I don't see a decimal point in 30. When you don't see a decimal point, a good way to remember where the decimal point is to think about money. If we were thinking about $30 here, the decimal point would come after the 0 in 30. So if I write 30, that's where my decimal point is going to fall. Now let's go below and line the other one up. So 5.14. And we're going to be subtracting this. And you can see that I'm going to need to add a couple of zeros in the top so that these decimal numbers are written to the same place value. Now that I have the zeros added, I'm ready to subtract. Starting over on the right, 4 from 0. Well, I can't take 4 from 0, so I'm going to have to borrow. Well, I can't borrow from the next place or the next one, so I'm going to have to come all the way over to the 3, borrow from the 3, which is going to make it a 2. That will add 10 to the next place value, so that 0 is going to become a 10. But now I need to borrow from that 10 for the next place value. So I borrow from that 10, which makes it a 9. Now it makes this 0 a 10, and now I'm going to have to borrow from that 10 for the next place value. It'll make that a 9, then it makes this 0 a 10. I don't have to borrow anymore, so that last place value is going to remain 10. Now I'm ready to subtract. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 1 is 8. 9 minus 5 is 4. And then finally 2 minus nothing is 2. So I'm going to add my decimal point there. So when I get done with the subtraction here, I get a final answer of 24.86. If you found this video helpful, I encourage you to check out our other videos that we have on YouTube, or visit the web address that accompanies this video to learn more about our approach to learning mathematics.